Shavua Tov. One of my favorite comments by the Ramban is found in this week's parasha. And the comment is so counterintuitive and yet so true that I find it extremely insightful. After the giving of the Ten Commandments, Moshe Rabbeinu turns to the Bnei Israel and he tells them, Al tira'u ki l'vavor nasot etchem ba Elohim u'bavor tieh yirato al pneichem devilti tachata'u. Don't fear. Ki l'vavor nasot etchem ba Elohim. Now what does this mean, l'vavor nasot etchem? Rashi comments, and he himself says that the word nasot over here actually means to raise up, laharim, lasot nes, to make a banner. And the idea over here is that Hashem is going to, through this experience of the Ten Commandments and Har Sinai, and everybody hears about it, that the Bnei Israel are going to be raised up in the eyes of the Umot Ha'olam, of the rest of the nations. The Rambam, Maimonides, has a different take. He says this is actually to test us for later, that after seeing the revelation at Har Sinai, when one day a Navi Sheker, a false prophet, shows up and tells us to not believe in Hashem and to forget all of the mitzvot, we should be able to call back to Har Sinai and realize, no, we shouldn't be listening to this Navi Sheker. But now we come to the words of the Ramban. And let me just introduce them with another idea. I think that in many other faiths, and really in general in the philosophy of religion, there's this idea that emunah, that faith is really the whole purpose of religion. And how do they understand faith? Many people say that faith means that it's the belief without proof, without evidence. And so it's almost as if to say that to believe in God without evidence, without knowledge, and perhaps without even trying to prove or anything like that, is really the sine qua non of religion, and without it, there's no point to it. There's no point to religion. And so if someone were to come forward and say, I have proof that God exists, it almost would undermine religion. And this actually was picked up by Douglas Adams in his famous Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books, wherein he has this fascinating fish, fake fish obviously, that they found somewhere in a distant galaxy called the Babel fish. And the idea of the Babel fish, read to you from the book, it says that this Babel fish can hear and decode the languages that a person is speaking and feed the other language into the other person's mind. So it's almost a universal translator, and it's a fish. And Douglas Adams writes, he says, it is such a bizarrely improbable coincidence that anything so mind-bogglingly useful could have evolved by pure chance that some thinkers have chosen to see it as a final and clinching proof of the non-existence of God. How is this supposed to work? The argument goes something like this. I refuse to prove that I exist, says God, for proof denies faith, and without faith I am nothing. But, says man, the Babel fish is a dead giveaway, isn't it? It could not have evolved by chance. It proves that you exist, and so therefore, by your own arguments, you don't. Oh dear, says God, and he disappears in a puff of logic. Now, of course, the absurdity here is, first of all, that a proof of logic that God exists could actually make him not exist. Obviously, that's ridiculous. But as the Ramban is going to go on to state, there's a mistake in the foundation of this idea of faith. The Ramban comments, what does it mean when it says, L'vavor nasot etchem ba Elohim? The Ramban says, it's literally to test us. But what's the test? The Ramban says, Ratza Elohim lanasotchem hatishmeru mitzotav ki hotzi milibchem kol safek. Hashem wants to see, are you going to follow his Torah, his commands, when he removes from your heart any doubt about his existence? Hashem created this Har Sinai moment, this revelation, this pyrotechnic miracle. He comes down, he speaks to us, panim o panim, face to face, to remove from our hearts any doubt about his existence. Why? Because he's not interested in our faith, so to speak. He's interested in us doing the mitzvot. In Judaism, it's not about whether or not you believe in God. That's not the point. The point is, what do you do with his mitzvot? People spend so much time thinking about faith, not faith, proof, not proof. What really interests God, what he wants from us, is to follow the mitzvot, to love him, to acknowledge him, and to love each other. That's the ikar.